Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chiefs Fans Before We Were Cool.
We are still working on the being cool consistently part, but we have the Chiefs fans part down pretty good, I must say.
100%, man. 100%. You can always be a Chiefs fan, even if
Yeah.
you're not cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's for sure. So, had another good game this week to talk about. Have a short week and then another game, so it's a football-filled week. So,
I
we can
know.
jump right into it with some memes. So, I promised last week, and I tried to keep it no Bengals memes because this is not a Bengals podcast. This is a Chiefs podcast. So,
Yeah. I'll give him that.
um,
I think you just left him out because he did well. I think you just
hey, you could say that. I
didn't
committed ahead of
want
time.
to admit the Bengals had a good week.
I will say I also intentionally left out Cowboys memes because it was a week that there was a lot of those too. But for your own safety, I left those out.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah.
yeah,
That's actually a safety issue. That's real.
yeah.
That's real. Anyway,
So,
awesome. Let's
all
look
right.
at some of these memes. Let's look at some of these memes. I'm excited. Rex Fields, I am once again asking for your support for Bernie.
Uh,
Oh my.
yep,
He's been working on it. He's nothing if not persistent.
yep.
Um, anyway, that's really cool. I mean, the way the Democrat Party is happening, he's never gonna be able to do it because they
Yeah,
have too many
yeah.
super representatives or
Well, and
whatever.
mostly it's just
But
the
anyway,
meme format, right? The meme format is the grass fields are
yeah,
once again being like, hey, look at us. We're good. People don't tear their ACLs or whatever, like playing on us. So the not meant to mostly be
yeah,
political. It's just a
it's
good meme
true.
format.
Like a lot of things, like you can't hardly improve it. I feel like the same way, like you can't really improve on water. Like you have all these drinks, it's like, oh, you get some electrolytes and you'll do this. It's just like just drink water. You're gonna be
Yeah,
all right. I mean, you can drink other stuff to enjoy it, but I feel like it's funny. I just don't know if they really improve on that.
yeah,
Same thing with grass. Like it's grass. It's what we want. Like it's what we're used to, and
yep.
some of these turfs seem to have a natural things. I was reading some stuff on that today, but it's yeah, I don't know. Like I like for some reason they feel like they can improve it or they can make it more consistent. They can do this or that. But it just seems like we get back to grass and
Also,
what a lot of the players prefer. Um,
anytime you're on artificial fields, like even just like gone for flag football games, you always end up with the stuff in your shoes when you come home, no matter what. Like, I don't know how it happens, but it's always there. It's annoying. You take the field home with you. So,
yeah. So
all right.
obviously that's a big deal. Not having Justin Jefferson's a big deal. We'll talk about that probably a little bit more. Um,
Yep. Well, let's go on to the
but
next one then.
yeah, and if the field is to blame for that, then that's a big deal, and hopefully we can address it. Netflix watching their stars play each other.
So this one you haven't seen the Netflix
I
documentary.
actually, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just dumb. I don't get that one. What's the
That's yeah, you
the
haven't
joke?
seen the quarterback series on Netflix, but Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes were two of the three
Oh,
that were starred in it.
oh,
So
oh my word.
yeah,
My brain is gone. Yeah,
it's late at
nope, you're
night.
right.
So
There's All
yeah,
Stars. It is
yep,
late at night. I think I told you, I think we talked about it in week one about how a lot of the students I work with were like screaming at me that Patrick Mahomes is so arrogant because of the quarterback series.
yeah,
It's like you go away, it's like, man, he's the most arrogant person in the world, and Kirk Cousins is the nicest guy in the world.
yeah,
I think you said that your wife drafted Kirk Cousins because he's a nice guy.
yeah. I mean, he plays pretty
You
well.
know,
So,
it's cool.
but she regretted it. It was an
Yeah,
emotional
no,
thing.
it's not the worst draft pick. Hey, and if you have a nice guy that's also doing pretty well, like I
Yeah,
mean, seriously, he's an easy
yeah.
guy to root for. I root
True,
for Kirk
true.
Cousins.
I root for
Part of it
him,
was kind of
except for
rooting for
last
him
week.
against us, not wanting us to win, but
Not
you know,
just feel
wanting against him
good,
to
a feel
win. But
good game. So
go Kirk Cousins vibes. Let's
yeah,
send them out. Yeah, good vibes, Kirk Cousins.
yep,
Hope you get traded. Maybe I don't.
yeah,
Probably talk about that a little bit later. All
yeah,
right,
for
but
sure.
Starflies, yeah, the next stars. All right, next one. Chiefs fans after week 5 with Justin Watson, wide receivers hoping to be traded to KC. Okay, okay, all right. Justin Watson,
I had to give
he's
him a
making
little bit
big
of
plays.
love.
I mean, he's not going to be your wide receiver one probably
Yeah,
the rest of the season, but he does good stuff. Like, and I think the Chiefs are pretty committed to having like just everybody. Like they really feel like they have different sets and strengths and stuff, and that they're using
yeah,
their wide receivers at the right spots. Um, I don't know. We'll probably talk about that more as
yeah,
well. But Justin Watson, good job for you. Keep rolling. At this rate, you'll get what 200 and some yards after 5 games. You get another 750 yards, which for him would be, I think, a career high, maybe.
yeah. And we'll talk about
So,
that some more later. Obviously, his plays, but yeah,
Justin Jefferson normally, Jefferson versus L'Jarius Sneed. Yeah, I mean, that's true. We did hold Jefferson in three
yeah,
quarters to 28 yards. You can't ever know what would happen if he would have played that
yeah,
last quarter when things get loosened up. I would have expected him to have gotten some bigger plays, like especially that crunch time.
yeah,
But that's hey, it happened. Um,
yep,
it Jersey did play it really well. The Chiefs in general played really well on limiting Jefferson.
yeah.
And the final one, Kelce injury, halftime. He sticks some duct tape
What
on it.
when we were
Flex
watching
tape,
the
I should say.
game,
Yeah, yeah, it's so funny.
yeah, flex tape. When we were watching it, my
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
said,
You put some tape. I was worried. That
"Yeah,
was terrifying. Kelce going down. Like
yeah,
that's really that was a lot.
for sure." My dad said afterwards,
Pretty
though,
good. Pretty good.
he said,
So
"I want whatever they gave Kelce at halftime." Because like he came back and he like had a dominant drive. Once he got back on the field.
That's crazy, man. Well, I'm glad Kelsey seems okay. It's a low ankle sprain, I've heard, and I don't know if he'll be there tomorrow. Um,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully, we
he's
don't need him.
he
We
he at
we
least
shouldn't
played.
need
I mean,
him,
we probably
but
don't need him tomorrow. I kind of don't want him to play tomorrow.
yeah,
If we lose without him, then we deserve to lose. I don't like. I
yeah,
feel like it's the
yeah,
Broncos. We'll talk about that in a bit as well, though. But
yeah.
let's get back to the game. Oh, actually, do you want to do? Well, let's talk about the game a little bit, and then we'll do some of the fun questions that I
Okay.
have for you.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
So
So
you were, yeah.
I say the Vikings. One thing that people were pointing out this week is besides obviously the Chiefs, this was the only team Mahomes hadn't beaten. Since he was in the NFL, he hadn't played as a starter versus them, or maybe even played them when he was not a star. I'm not sure, but it was the only team that he hadn't beaten yet. And so that was obviously a pretty big deal. What were you gonna say?
No, I did. Yeah, we beat him. Those kinds of things are kind of like, well, how many times did you play him?
Yeah,
Injured, like, kind of.
you can make an
I don't
interesting
know.
stat out of anything. Like this quarterback has never lost on a Monday night game where it was raining in September. Like,
Kirk
but
Cousins a prime time. He can't ever
yeah,
play, which I
yeah,
don't. I feel like that one's overblown too. But
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's just funny.
Hmm.
Funny how people decide, oh, this is a thing,
Yeah.
to give us something to talk about. So now we're talking about people talking about things that aren't worth talking about.
We
So
fell
I don't
right
know
for their
what's
trap.
worse.
We've activated their trap card.
Absolutely.
um,
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anything else stood out to you about the game?
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, it was, like it's kind of interesting. This is a year where our defense has obviously been dominant, and our offense is figuring it out. So it's kind of interesting that people are like, well, their offense is clicking, but still not quite there. With 27 points is a pretty good showing in a football game, right? Like, obviously, if you think back to Mahomes' first year as a starter, 27 would be like an off day for them. But a lot of receivers made a lot of plays. We talked about this some. Justin Watson, he made two really big catches. And I kind of wonder, love to hear your thoughts on this, if maybe he's not seeing the ball more because we're playing him deep and teams are mostly just letting us go short. But then when there's that deep ball, those are often his targets, and he's made some good plays on those.
Yeah, I mean, he's super fast, and like I said, I think the Chiefs have kind of decided that receivers are used in a specific way, that's their
Yeah.
skill set, and Justin Watson's super fast. and he's pretty solid at catching things downfield. Right now, he might be our best one at that. Kadarius Toney is twitchy. Sky Moore's a decent route runner, but
Yeah.
not always much there. Rashid Rice is a kind of yards after catch. The Yeah, like we might
MVS is
see.
obviously another deep threat.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that's what I was missing. I was like, I know I'm missing something. So MVS is our other deep threat, but we're um not running into that as much. Justin Ross, that's who I was thinking of too.
yeah.
He's more of a contested catch person.
Now,
So yeah, like that's how he gets open, and he's making the most of it. And it's kind of funny. Sometimes people will be like, "Oh, we need to see more of these receivers," and I wonder about that sometimes. Like, obviously, if you have a best receiver like a Justin Jefferson, he's out every play. But
yeah,
like the Chiefs, we don't really have a number one. Like maybe we should see more Justin Ross, see more Rashee Rice because they seem to be more physically talented than the other receivers. Um, but
yeah. They seem
like
to have
I
a
don't
bigger
like
upside.
well again, and it's like depending on what your play is and what's going on.
Yeah,
Also, I just think of the physical aspect sometimes. Like yes, these are athletes and they're professionals and they work really hard, but isn't it better to have some fresh legs,
yeah,
in certain plays and stuff and not like, oh, I just like sprinted 100, yards
yeah,
and then keep playing that. So I think when you have a talented receiver or something like that, then it's almost always worth it to have him on. But we don't have a Cooper Cup, we don't have a Justin Jefferson, so trying to keep our maybe above average players. I don't know, maybe that's a little bit demeaning, but like our okay players or our
yeah,
learning players, right, or improving players, um, put, play in limited roles. I think might actually be the best thing. Maybe they know what they're doing. Uh,
yeah,
I do think maybe as the year goes on, we'll see more of a distinguish. Like some people will separate, but so far nobody really has. So,
yeah. I'm curious, did you really think that one, that third down right after halftime, that Watson got that pass? It really looked like it was gonna be a pick there until he like came in right behind the defender and like literally took the ball from over the
oh my word,
defender. I was like,
yeah,
wow, like that was a play.
I had a little bit of a flashback back to that Jets game. With some underthrown balls there. But yeah, yeah, it was pretty impressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Justin Ross, right? I'm
No,
sorry.
no, that was Watson in that play.
Oh no, that was Watson. Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Watson did that. Justin Ross
Yeah.
had another pretty good contested catch.
Yep, he
That
did.
I'm mixing up. So yeah, 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 it was good. Good job, Watson.
And
Help us out.
you know, Edwards-Helaire, like he's not playing poor by any means, but I sometimes I wonder why they're not just going with Pacheco. And the only reason I can figure out is, you got to rest him some, and you can't if you never run with, Edwards-Helaire, then you can't, like you're tipping your hand if he is only in there in pass plays, right? Like you can't do that. You have to make people think you have to make them respect the run when he's there. But obviously Pacheco is running like crazy, and it kind of feels like he should get the ball on running plays.
Yeah. So with rushing, Pledgett's Layers averaging like 3.3 yards carry, so
Yeah,
not very
that's not.
good.
Yeah,
But I think you're right. It's about keeping people safe. Like Chiefs are always thinking towards the end of the year,
yeah,
so we're trying to keep our people healthy. In the way that Deco runs, if we give him like 20 plus carries every game, he's gonna hurt himself.
yeah,
He's got that kind of drive
yeah,
um, that and so they're trying. I think they are trying to preserve him. I think you're right. I think they have to run sometimes, so it's not just pass plays.
yeah,
It's not obvious. Maybe a little bit less. Maybe Jarek McKinnon can do a little bit more. If I look at his rushing, he's averaging. Um, okay, so he's averaging about the same. So both of them
yeah.
are
And he's
not rushing a whole
obviously a
lot.
big red zone target because he's a really good pass
Yeah,
threat. But
that's right. But I mean, yeah, I would love to have Macheco run every time. I think in general, like it's kind of like the difference between fantasy, what we want in fantasy from our players and what we want
yeah,
in real life. Like I think in real life, it's good to have another person, even if you get a yard or so less,
yeah,
to just to preserve the health of the person and to lower the injury risk.
Yeah, I personally, I wonder. Obviously they brought Kelce in for the Hail Mary at the end, and the pass was never thrown. There was a sack, but had he thrown it, had Kelce caught it, would he get a point in PPR for that? That's what I want to know.
Oh, interesting. Do offensive players?
Or I
It
guess,
definitely.
go ahead.
I don't think so. You do get a touchdown, like if your wide receiver returns a touchdown. Um,
It'd probably just be listed as defense interception, so the defense would
yeah,
get a
I
bonus
think
two
so.
points. But those are the hard hitting questions that I wonder about.
Anyway, yeah. So I tried to ask it. I don't know. I was trying to look it up, but we'll have to maybe we'll look at it further. And,
What we need to do
that'd be
is we
kind of
need to get an intern and then assign the intern to research that for us during the week.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, that would have been funny. Anyway, never know. Never know. As a league manager, you could have decided that. Like you could have that would have been a fun call to make. Like, oh,
That's
by the
true.
way, Hannah, you
Yeah.
get 2 more points.
Yeah. And then she beats my dad by 2 points. Like it was or like 1 point. Like
It was a 1 point game, and then he got the
yeah.
2 points.
We're coming
Yeah,
up.
I
We're
lost
gonna
one of
play
my
each other
games
some.
in a league .5. I was sad about that,
Have you
but
ever, this is obviously not really about this game in particular, but you feel like someone's lost a game once, right? Because their quarterback took a knee and lost
yeah,
yardage that way, or took several knees. So
I I barely won a game because they did a little shuffle pass to Kelce last year, by like .1. Like it's like literally they shuffled to Kelce. He gets like 0 yards, but it got the 1 point for the PPR,
reception,
and maybe
yeah,
like I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 yards. And so those things got me up. It was totally pointless play at the end of the game. I
yeah,
was just like, what in the world? It like had 0% chance of winning
that's awesome.
out of there. And what was funny is the other guy beat me by like .05 the other time I faced him.
Yeah,
So at
yeah,
least we both came out 1-1 and those close
yeah.
games. But
Nobody could really
anyway, this is
complain
a
too
little bit off
much.
of fantasy. But anyway, unsolicited fantasy advice. Still just play Kelsey and Mahomes and
Yep,
Pacheco.
and
Pacheco
Pacheco.
is become fantasy relevant. That's
Yeah,
kind of fun.
honestly, I've been starting the
Uh,
Chiefs defense because they've been pretty good. Like they haven't.
oh yeah, Chiefs defense there. Now we got like 4 things
Yeah,
from the Chiefs we can play.
yeah.
I
So
I was pretty sad I didn't um I wasn't able to pick up like the Chiefs defense was doing pretty well and I wanted to pick them up, but somebody else picked them up before me.
yeah,
That week I decided, oh, you know what? I could just play the Chiefs defense and we might do all right and that would be fun to have.
yeah,
And then somebody else picked them up. I was like, ah,
yeah. Well, obviously we don't
maybe
play
I
with
should
a
have buy.
kicker, but Butker is a good kicker.
That is
So
true.
yeah,
Bucker is a good kicker as well. Yeah.
so there's a
If
few
you
options
play
for
with
you.
kickers, which I don't know. Obviously you feel like it's not as valuable, but I think the game itself is just so random that like a kicker or no
Yeah,
kicker. But
yeah.
it is one less kind of like dorky thing to mess with for sure.
It just feels like you like if you don't get Tucker, then you just are basically the luck of the draw after that. But
Mhm.
anyway,
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's get back to the thing. So there were a couple calls there towards the end that were a little controversial. I think in general, like I said, I think the main thing I would take away this game is our defense stood up against a very good offense.
yeah.
Um, Limited Jefferson did a really great job with that.
And the lack
Um,
of a penalty for removing the helmet that ultimately wouldn't have kept the ball in the hands of the Vikings. It just would have had us moved back farther, because it would have still been a
right, and
change of possession.
yeah, it's always hard to know what if like maybe we throw a little different, maybe we play a little different. We did end up having to punt, and maybe that would have made the punt a little bit closer. Um,
Yeah,
But I mean, we backed up on penalties for the punt anyway, trying to
Yeah.
get a offsides. So I mean, it's not.
And
I'm not
like,
sure that it would have made a difference for sure. And so, it's hard. Like, it's kind of funny though when people are like, "We don't want refs to decide the game," and then they have something like that, which was a change of possession, so the refs were actually okay. Like, it was a gray area; they had the
yeah,
choice to enforce it or not. Um, but the you don't want the refs to control the game, and people will say that until it's for the Chiefs.
yeah.
Like,
And
how
we
dare
are
you?
the third most penalized team. So it's not like we're not getting penalties, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, the refs are really favoring us a lot.
Yeah. The other thing is too, right? The Vikings had really poor clock management in the third half, particularly with their timeouts. And
Yep.
so you knew if it was going to be a tight game that was going to come back to hurt them. And they didn't
Yep.
have enough time. It did come back to hurt them because a timeout to get to avoid a penalty earlier, a challenge that pretty much you knew it was going to stand as called, based on what we could see. Obviously, you don't have a lot of time to
Right. From the
decide that as a
booth.
ref,
Yeah. As a
but
coach,
as a
it
coach,
seemed a
yeah,
little emotional, but
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Obviously, no pass interference call on L'Jarius Sneed. It seemed like it was not catchable,
yeah,
not really close to the receiver. It is, I don't like, they thought about it. They looked at it. They talked about it as refs, and they decided it wasn't. So I'm glad they threw the flag initially so that they consider it and think about it,
yep,
work through it. But I do agree that it wasn't catchable, and there wasn't really. They were both just going down the field, right? And Kirk Cousins really was off target, probably because of pressure. So
yeah, yeah. Good game overall. The Vikings are a good
yeah,
team, but without Jefferson now, you do think that their season, without Jefferson for a few weeks, you think their season is pretty much over, especially with just lots of close losses, but it's going to be really hard to come back at this point, especially with the Lions playing as well as they are. Um, so
yeah. So we'll see. Like I kind of alluded to at the beginning, maybe they trade for Cousins. That would be interesting to see what
yeah,
happens.
yep,
Where he goes. Maybe not to the Jets, maybe to the Falcons. I've heard
yeah,
people talk about. So that would be interesting. Think of where he might go.
yeah,
He's a good solid quarterback, and if you have a really good defense and good supporting cast around him, he could probably bring you at least a AFC, like a championship, like NFC
yeah,
championship. I don't know if he'd get to Super Bowl,
yeah.
uh, but he's also a nice guy. So
He's also a nice guy.
maybe he should get to a Super Bowl sometime. Just maybe even win it.
Yeah,
If
and
it's
he
not
can win
against the
as long as he's
Chiefs.
not against us. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah, beat the
um,
Bengals.
beat the Bengals, but I don't even want them getting there. So beat the Bills. That's fine.
All
Um,
right. They had one good game against Denver, so we can
yeah,
still pretend they're really bad.
yeah,
They'll never get good.
true. Um, so what kind of things are we wondering about this week?
Oh, good questions. Oh, actually, let's do stats and then we'll do
Do
some
stats. Okay,
brother
that's
wonders.
great.
Yeah. Um, who do you think our leading tackler is now? I was surprised by this.
Oh, uh, Tranquil.
It is Tranquil. Yeah.
Okay. I
Yep.
think Bolton might be back this week, is what I've heard. Obviously, that'll be nice, but
Yeah.
AJ
Bolin will
Long,
be, I mean, he had all the sacks a year ago, so he'll
yeah,
probably overtake it. But it's kind of cool to see him and Mike Edwards both doing pretty well. Some of the
yeah,
people we've brought
yeah,
in. So Drew Clinkwell had a couple good plays there too. I think he might
yeah,
have deflected the thing that got intercepted. I can't remember who did that, but
yeah, yeah,
that was pretty good. McDuffie's been playing out of his
yeah.
mind and tackling really well. He has 28 sacks. He's our second. It's
28
in
tackles.
tackles.
Yeah,
Sorry, tackles. Yeah.
it'd be crazy if he had
Uh,
28 sacks 5 games in.
he's pretty pretty impressive. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
interesting.
that is.
Um, who's our leading receiver,
I
receiving
think
yards?
I think Kelce might have passed Watson at this point.
There you are.
So, but
Kelsey's
Watson's
back
number
on top,
two,
baby.
right?
Rolled the yeah.
Yeah.
Watson's still number two. So even with the ankle, comes back in, plays tough.
Yep.
All right. So Brother Wonders, I think there's some really good ones. He
All
actually has
right.
enlisted some family members there.
Okay.
That I think will be good too. Um, so why does this is from his young kid? Why does Patrick Mahomes put ketchup on everything?
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of people that wonder that. Including he gets a little hate for putting ketchup on steak, but you know what? There are weirder things that people put on their food. And I think, like there's some people that put hot sauce on everything. Like there's just something that adds flavor. And, honestly, as someone who's now a millionaire like he is, right? Putting ketchup on all of his food is like the most relatable thing that like a really rich person
Yeah,
can do, like
really, really, it's just trying to help us view him as an everyman.
yeah, yeah. So, you
Like
know,
it.
yep.
Here's a question I think you'll like pretty well
Okay.
from his wife. Is Travis Kelce the tightest end? If you know what I mean.
Is that part of the question? If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. That had to be part of the actual thing. Yeah, let's say yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
I would
Well,
agree. He's the
okay.
tightest end.
Yeah.
Maybe Taylor would agree too.
Yeah. Maybe Taylor. I feel like I know exactly who are coming up with these questions from the family too. So,
All right. Here's a few more. If you could pick a different celebrity for Travis to date, who would it be?
oh man, you know how like this is dangerous for me the same way the Cowboys thing is for you, right? Like, because my wife's a Swiftie, so you know, um, obviously Taylor's my number one choice. But what other celebrity? Um, you know, I'm just gonna say Selena Gomez would be really funny because then you'd compare her like exes. You'd say like Justin Bieber and then like Travis Kelce, the manliest man. You
Dude.
know,
Yeah.
it'd be
You know
like
what? I was trying to think of an example. I think you thought of a better one than
okay.
I have.
What
So,
what were you thinking?
oh, I don't know. It's not really good ones. I see. The problem is I'm not even aware of like who's married and who's not.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah. Like who would be? I don't. Honestly, Taylor Swift is so good. Selena Gomez would be a good fallback. I guess.
And let me know if you think that's a good number two option when you watch this later.
Number
So
two option. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Um, what Taylor Swift song best describes Mahomes and Travis's relationship?
Oh well, they keep bringing up Love Story on the slides where they do a show as stats. So that's a pretty good one. Um,
And you did notice it's Mahomes and Travis, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did notice that. But like, yeah, have you seen that when they show their stats, their connections on touchdowns? They say like Love
Oh,
Story, and the NFL's eating
okay.
all this up. Um,
Super funny.
so I'm just gonna go with Love Story for now because I'm drawing a blank. Um,
Okay,
but do
sounds
you have a
good.
thought
Love
on that one?
story. Um, You Belong With Me,
Oh,
maybe?
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, You Belong With Me, I guess. Yeah, yep, exactly right. And then if you could pick one player from within our division to have on the Chiefs this year, who would it be?
One player from within our division. Um,
I think the answer is obvious,
yeah,
100%.
isn't which Bosa is it that plays for the Chargers?
Ooh, that's actually not what I thought, but
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, which I
Uh,
can't remember which one that is. Is that
yeah,
Joey?
but the Bosa, Joey
Yeah.
Bosa, yeah.
Yeah, that's what comes to mind, but I'm probably gonna think, oh, I was obviously missed it when you say
Nah, I
something.
mean, I was thinking Devontae Adams
Oh
for
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious one too. Yeah.
But I mean, he's also getting paid a lot. So if you think of it in that terms,
Yeah, if you had to eat the contract, then either of them would
then
be
the
expensive, but Bosa would probably be a better value for the money.
Fine. With that. Cool, cool, cool.
Do you have any more
Yeah,
wonders, or
so
is
those
that
were
the
Brother Wonders.
okay? Well, I have a new segment for us that's going to be very brief, but I've already said my wife is a Swiftie, and she'd gotten into football when we started dating. She became a Chiefs fan, and so she watches football, but is loving all this stuff too. So I asked her for this segment. It's called a quick Swift segment, where I just asked her to think of the game because she watches the games with me, and give me a Taylor Swift song that represents the game. So I'm going to read what she wrote. The Sunday afternoon football game this week between the Chiefs and the Vikings is like the song "Ours" by Taylor Swift, because "Ours" says don't you worry your pretty little minds. People throw rocks at things that shine. Um, People throw rocks at things that shine. The stakes are high, the water's rough, but this love is ours. And it reminded me of this song because the game was turbulent, the waters were rough, the stakes were high, but they came through. Their love is ours. So there you go. There's a quick Swift segment for you. It's poetry.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Taylor Swift, for giving many people a reason to love the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Even
And getting
while we're
people into
good.
football. That's the way I like to play on this Taylor Swift thing is I love football, and the more people that love football and Chiefs is a good thing in my opinion. So
Mm, love it. Have any thoughts of the game tomorrow?
yeah, obviously we should win, right? Like every football game's competitive, but as much as you can say a game that we should win this year, this is one of them. Um, and so I'm hoping that we don't really need Kelce to play a whole lot, and that we just
Yeah.
see kind of like we did against the Bears, where our offense is just clicking. So
Yeah. And I think we just need to remember too, the way that people play the Chiefs is different than how they play other teams. And
yeah,
they have a lot of tape. They prepare for this game, and so they spend a lot of time thinking about how do we slow them down, and a lot of it has to do with two high safeties and
yeah,
forcing Mahomes to be patient. And Mahomes is patient pretty much every time, right? He made some bad throws against the Jets, but um, that's
yeah.
that's just how people are
Division
playing it.
games are generally very hard for teams. Obviously, the Chiefs are kind of a unique company in how well they have dominated their division in the Andy Reid era. But they're usually hard because it's hard to beat a team twice in a year, for most
That's
people.
true.
But
But this is 10-1, so let's beat him good.
yep,
We don't have to go all Dolphins on this, but um,
I wouldn't mind that either, though. So
that would be fun.
yeah,
We haven't had like a huge high scoring game, like just
yeah.
completely. I mean, how many did we score against Chicago?
40. And really it's because the big
We
reason the
stopped.
Dolphins
Yeah.
got so many points is that their second strings also went off,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
a big part of it. But um
Yeah, it's true.
any other thoughts you have about this game?
I think, yeah, I think what you're saying, I think it's hopefully not a trap game. You know, we do tend to, it'd be easy to underestimate this team
Mhm.
and have whatever we say. So just go in there, play a good, clean game. Their defense is pretty terrible. They're a year away from doing anything. So
Yeah,
we gotta take care. That's how you get playoffs, get the one seed, win the games you should, and
yep,
then just go even or a little better than that in the games that are hard.
yeah.
Tough.
If we beat him good enough, they might fully dismantle and then trade us back Frank Clark. So you know
Give us Frank
this
Clark back,
yeah. So
which would be fine. I don't
I
know
don't
if
think we
it's
need
like,
him, but I mean, adding another good rusher would not hurt. So
he has shown up in playoffs a lot, so
yeah.
he would be a probably pretty cheap ad and be manageable. So
All right. So do you have a cool from the game?
uh, I feel like I do this sometimes, but cool. Travis coming back into the game, playing it out. Uncool, turf.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
getting hurt on turf.
yeah.
So
Yep, that's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, I thought I was like I'm glad you mentioned that because I had to. So I'll do my cool. It'll be a different one. Watson, two really good hard catches, but important ones, good yardage.
We love you, Justin
Yeah,
Watson.
yeah. We haven't done that very much since week, our first week. But
Throwback.
uncool, I'll say, is just especially that one drive, just penalties and stupid penalties, right? Like things we just need to tighten up on the game. Taylor's not been getting penalized on the line so much. It feels like he's settled in, and they're not looking for if he's half an inch or away or anymore. But yeah, those penalties and that one drive, I think we moved him down the field with penalties, like 2 or 3 in a row. So that was uncool.
Be uncool. Yep.
Yeah,
So let's take care of business and Arrowhead. It's at
yeah,
Arrowhead. And beat the Broncos. Um, you know, I
yeah,
don't I don't know. They're really struggling, but we're doing okay. So hopefully this will be another get right game, more like the Bears game than some of the other games we've had.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad it's on a short week, that it's an Arrowhead where it's not like a turf field for one. And then hopefully we just get enough ahead that we can rest some starters early.
Yeah.
Thursday night games, since not so much this year as much other years, but they can tend to be a game where people get injured because of that short week, and less recovery time on their bodies. But hopefully nobody on either side gets injured, anything
Yeah,
serious.
we definitely yeah, and we're like the next right, as long as we beat the Chargers, we have, the Broncos, the Chargers, then the Broncos again. And then we go to Germany. So
Yeah. Yep,
uh
that's gonna be an important game.
should
Um,
should be the Broncos both times and should be the Chargers as well. So
should be
we'll
the
see how that
Chargers.
all
They're
goes.
they're probably the toughest team in the division, but they've not been having a great
For
year.
sure.
So
As long as we can go 1-1 with them, we can still,
yeah.
do really well.
So yeah.
Whew.
Well, we
All right.
will.
Well, another good episode. I'm not sure
Yep.
if we improved our cool status, but I think
Yeah, I
we
think we
have
did.
improved our Chiefs fan status.
Yeah, for sure.
But
And we'll have a shorter. There'll be there'll be less. Well, there's another game coming up tomorrow, and then we'll record another episode soon. So,
yeah,
short weeks make
yeah,
more videos, more football, and I'm all about more football. So,
sure. Taylor Swift,
yeah,
come to our game.
yeah,
Give us
we're
ratings. Help us,
yeah,
help people love the Chiefs again.
yeah, yeah,
I'm tired of everybody hating on them,
yeah.
mostly
We
small
need,
children that I teach.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
it was a good
all
week. I
right.
can't wait to do the next video.
Yep. All right. We'll see you then.
All right, see you then.